This is believed to be a portrait of Adam Smith, a very influential Scottish economist known for his book The Wealth of Nations from 1776. The author of the painting is not known. The painting hangs in the Scottish National Gallery in Edinburgh.
Hi, my name is Trilce Navarrete, and in this video we will look at how general cultural economic theory can be applied to understand museums and their work. Why is it important to look at museums from an economic perspective? Positioning museums as a sector in the economy allows identifying the share of employment, expenditure, or contribution to the GDP in relation to other sectors. You might have seen reports noting the contribution of culture to international tourism, which is the third largest export category after chemicals and fuels worldwide. This is macroeconomics, concerned with the aggregate economic variables and deals with economic-wide policies to achieve economic growth. You might have also be familiar with reports that review the goals, the organization, the budget, and the strategies of museums and their performance. This is microeconomics, which studies the individual parts of the economy, such as the use of resources in the production and consumption of goods by individuals or firms. There is one intermediate branch, Mesoeconomics, which serves to identify the characteristic elements that define behavior in a specific sector, like the heritage sector. In the Netherlands, there are nearly 700 museums which received 32 million visits in 2018, of which 32% were international visitors. Ticket entrance reached over 1 billion euros. However, more than half of all Dutch museums are small and did not receive so many visitors. Instead, they reported a negative financial result. Regarding jobs, 41,000 individuals work in a Dutch museum, of which 66% are non-paid volunteers or interns. That means that 27,000 individuals are supporting the great work of Dutch museums and receive non-financial benefits to do so. Why? Economists can also approach their analysis by identifying the areas that make museums unique in the economy, for instance, as providers of experience goods, as institutes that transfer knowledge across generations, or as providers of endless inspiration for education, for discovery, or for innovation. Who pays the creation and preservation of museum collections, and who benefits from this great investment? And how can economic theory contribute to the understanding of museums in context? Economics is a social science that studies human behavior by observing the types of interactions for production and consumption by economic agents. These observations serve as facts that can be used to generate models that reveal tendencies on which predictions are based. An important element are the incentives that would lead to a change of an individual or a collective towards a certain goal. For instance, an economic model might be developed as theoretic representation of who visits museums and under which conditions to predict future visits. Understanding social behavior might be interesting for policymakers wanting to increase visitors of a certain social group, such as children, or for museums wanting to capture new markets, such as online visits. Human decisions are driven by scarcity, such as lack of money, lack of time, or lack of information about the beauty held in museums. So economics is the study of choices based on the available information and resources to achieve a desired goal. One thing that economists often look at is the efficiency of firms, or how to achieve the greatest output with the least resources. Economists might argue that varying the quantity or the type of inputs might lead to a greater output by decreasing cost or by automating processes. In the case of museums, analyzing efficiency requires clarity of the output. It is easy to think that the main output of the museums are the exhibitions. However, museums have other core functions. They also collect, preserve, research, communicate about the world at large. They might even have a shop. Socially, museums have an important role in informal education and supply the information society with unique, diverse, structure and quality information like no other institution in the world. Regarding the inputs, these include everything that enables the museum to do its work, comprised of staff, including security, management, curators and researchers, but also volunteers, technology as tools to transform assets, think of the information system to manage and access the collection's information, the building with exhibition halls and storage spaces, and of course the collection. Unfortunately, museums only exhibit a very small portion of their collection, both on their walls and online. Economists will identify this as an inefficiency. Another approach to analyze efficiency is to look at how prices influence access to the services. While generally pricing a service is informed by the cost, some costs require a different estimation. Museums have large upfront costs to pay for a building, for a collection, for hiring staff to do the restoration and research, and for developing the exhibition, not to mention security, marketing. But once open, the cost of one additional visitor is negligent, up to a certain point before it gets too overcrowded and the museum needs to open a new wing. A few museums have started to experiment with basic dynamic pricing to overcome overcrowding and provide low prices during slow visiting hours, but allow them to rise during busy times of the year, replicating online airline tickets. The idea is to maximize visitor ticket sale, capturing what consumers are willing to pay, while staying accessible for the greatest share of the population, including those with low income. This is because museums strive to be equitable while being part of the market. The experiments so far appear to increase new visitors and low to mid-income families ever so slightly. Financially, it's a success. Museums have generally opted for price discrimination based on expected user groups. Recently, time slots during peak hours and special exhibits have been introduced. And so, cultural economists analyze inputs and outputs of museums in the economy, considering the unique contribution of museums into our world. An important question to ask is, who pays and who benefits? And can it be done differently to best achieve the desired goal? As any social science, the application of economic analysis to museums in their context might adapt to fit what we find important at any given time. This was the video on museums and the economic lens. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you are more curious about the use of economic theory to explain museums. A list of references relevant to this topic is available at the end of the video.